Hey, look at this. Here's some good news. AV, 40 years old and decided to quit my job to take mental time and start anew. Not a boy or girl. Thank you to Bitcoin for giving me the opportunity to do so. Yeah, I mean when I left my job, and I kind of talked about this on whose podcast was it? Oh, I got to get info on that actually. That was on Paula's podcast. I wonder if that's out. Guess I should message her. But anyways, I talked about the fact that like quitting my job when I did probably wasn't the smartest move. It probably wasn't. But I wouldn't have been able to do without Bitcoin because when you have a job, like I had a job for since I was like 14 years old, I've had a job doing something, picking up range balls, delivering pizzas, pumping gas. I worked for the government. I worked for the government for one summer doing the census surveys where you go door to door and try to force people to fill out the government surveys. It's actually hilarious to think about that now. But it actually taught me a lot of good skills in terms of like when you're trying to sell the government on somebody, you have to do a pretty good job of sales. So I did that for a summer. I worked on my grandpa's farm it wasn't really a farm. He just had horses, but lots of stuff to do. What else did I do? I worked at a clothing store. I worked at Moore's too. But I mean, when you're used to having a steady paycheck and then all of a sudden it ends, that's a new feeling. And I think it was Kevin O'Leary who once said that a paycheck is like heroin. Like you get addicted to it and you can't stop it because you have that money coming in. And a lot of people just piss a lot of that away, but that's not the point. The point is when that ends, you gotta feed yourself. And so it definitely makes you work harder. It definitely makes you hungrier. But I'm saying I would not have been able to do that without Bitcoin. Bitcoin was basically like my insurance policy there, where I knew I was going to work my ass off to try to keep food on the table and try to keep the lights on here. But if all went bad, I had Bitcoin there, which was very comforting to me. And I'd sell a little bit, of course. I mean, if I'm going to eat or keep my Bitcoin, I'm obviously going to eat. So that's awesome, AV. That's good for you. I think that there's going to be a lot more people doing that in the coming years. It's already begun, actually, ever since the pandemic.